So you've actually been hiking at Mill Bluff State Park in Wisconsin, right? You mentioned getting up there and seeing those incredible views.
I did, yeah. And standing on top, looking out, well, you're not just seeing a nice view for today. You're really looking at the end result of, gosh, millions of years of geological action.
That's exactly what we want to dig into.
Okay.
We've got some materials here, bits about Wisconsin's geology, some history, a county recreation plan.
Right.
And the idea is to see, okay, what do these tell us about Mill Bluff's natural story? How did the park itself come about? And what are the things, like the hiking you did, that
Wow.
people can do there, kind of connecting that huge time scale to the, boots on the ground experience?
Let's do it. We can sort of peel back the layers, literally in a geological sense. The sources take us way back, deep into Wisconsin's past, the Paleozoic era.
Paleozoic, okay.
Yeah. You have to imagine this whole area underwater.
Gotcha.
Ancient seas flooding the land, then pulling back, not just once, but multiple times. This is during the Cambrian and Ordovician periods.
Seas. Actual oceans right here?
Exactly,
Yeah.
covering the land. And as they came and went, they dropped sediments. Think layers and layers of sand, mud, tiny shell fragments,
Okay.
which over immense time got compacted down into solid rock. We're talking sandstones, shales, dolomites, which is kind of like limestone. This happened over and over, building up really thick layers.
So seas leave rock. Got it. Then what?
Well, eventually the whole land surface got pushed up, uplifted, geologically speaking, rose above sea level.
And then erosion starts.
Then erosion takes over, yeah. Once it's exposed, you've got rain, wind, rivers starting to carve away at those rock layers. And this goes on for, well, millions and millions of years.
And glaciers, too. I mean, Wisconsin and glaciers, that's a thing, right?
It absolutely is. But this is where Mill Bluff's story gets really interesting. The sources talk about the Pleistocene glaciation, the big ice ages in the last million years or so. Huge ice sheets scraped across most of Wisconsin, changed the landscape completely, left behind tons of deposits. But, and this is key, the southwestern part of the state, it wasn't covered.
Wait, the glaciers missed this area. They went around it.
That's the idea. It's often called the Driftless Area. Drift being that glacial debris. Because it lacks those widespread glacial deposits you see elsewhere, the landscape here was shaped mostly by that much older river and wind erosion.
Ah, so that's why it looks different, more rugged with those bluffs and valleys.
Precisely. The glaciers didn't smooth it all down or bury it. So the dramatic shapes you see are a direct consequence of being bypassed by that last major glaciation.
That makes sense. And the rock itself, the bluff.
Yeah.
That's from the ancient seas.
It is. The sources mention formations like the St. Peter sandstone formed from sand deposited in those very seas we talked about.
Okay.
And after uplift and all that erosion, you see it today as these really steep cliffs or sometimes isolated pillars, like the bluffs at Mill Bluff.
Sheer rock faces.
Yeah, or similar features you see dotted around the Driftless area. It's pretty wild to think the rock you're looking at was once just sand at the bottom of an ancient sea. And just as a side note, the sources mention this St. Peter sandstone was actually quarried and used historically for things like sand for plaster or even ballast for building highways.
Wow, from seabed sand to road material. That's quite the journey. Okay, shifting gears a bit from deep time, there's actually a historical marker at Mill Bluff itself.
There is, yes. The materials we looked at mention it specifically. It talks about the geology right there, helping visitors like you connect what they're seeing to that immense backstory.
And it's interesting, the sources even touch on this wider discussion within Wisconsin about what qualifies for a historical marker. Should geology even be considered history?
Right, it raises that question. What is history? Is it just human events? Or does the story of the land itself count? Especially in a place like Mill Bluff where, honestly, the geology is the main story. It shaped everything else.
It really defines the place, doesn't it? And speaking of defining features of the bluffs, the recreation plan mentions them, obviously.
Of course. And there's this one really great detail from the historical info connecting people to that geology. Back in the mid-1930s, the WPA, the Work Progress Administration.
Oh, yeah. I know the WPA. They did a lot of park work.
They built the steps. 223 stone steps leading right up to the top of Mill Bluff.
223 stone steps. Wow. That's a serious construction project just to get to the top.
It really was. It tells you how much people valued getting up there, even back then. And the sources note there's an observation deck on the north side, right at the summit. So that huge effort directly links to getting those amazing views you experienced.
Makes the climb maybe feel a bit more significant. So Mill Bluff today is officially a state outdoor recreational facility, part of Monroe County. What kind of activities do the sources say are available?
Well, the main things highlighted are hiking, naturally, and nature study. There's a specific trail mentioned, a self-guiding nature trail.
Oh, cool. What's it like?
It's not too long, about 0.4 miles, a loop. And along the way, it's set up so you can learn about the local plants, the trees, wildflowers, animals, and, of course, the geology, the rocks we've been discussing.
Nice.
And importantly, the sources point out that part of that nature trail is actually accessible for people with disabilities.
Oh, that's really good to know. Wider access is key. Any other facilities nearby?
Yeah, they mentioned picnic spots and a swimming area close to the nature trail. And, typical state park things relevant to Monroe County according to the plan, like camping or RV facilities, are probably in the mix regionally, if not right at Mill Bluff itself.
Okay. So placing Mill Bluff in the bigger picture,
Hmm.
what's the surrounding area like, Monroe County?
The sources describe it as pretty varied. You've got forests, farmland, wetlands, and it's big cranberry country too, apparently, with rivers like the Black River flowing through.
And the bluffs themselves, regionally, not just Mill Bluff, they're important ecologically too.
Oh, absolutely. The materials emphasize that. These bluffs across the region are really vital habitats. They can host rare plants, specific natural communities that thrive in those unique conditions of the driftless terrain.
Interesting.
And the whole area is apparently part of a major migratory bird flyway, so the bluffs and the land around them are crucial stopovers for birds.
So geology, recreation, ecology,
Mhm.
it's all intertwined.
Mm.
Does the county kind of recognize the value of having places like this?
Seems so. The county plan definitely acknowledges that good outdoor recreation is important for people's health, sure, but also for the local economy, attracting visitors.
Yeah.
They even mention other nearby state spots like the Elroy-Sparta State Trail, so Mill Bluff is part of this larger recreational network.
It really covers a lot, doesn't it? You go from these ancient oceans leaving behind sand
Mm-hmm.
to the land lifting up, getting carved out, the glaciers going around it, leaving this unique shape.
Right.
Then people building stone steps almost a century ago to climb it, and now today, trails designed for everyone to experience it.
It's an incredible amount of history packed into one place, written right there in the rock. And visiting somewhere like Mill Bluff, well, you get to physically interact with the outcome of all those massive long-term processes. You're walking on rock that was seabed, climbing steps built by human hands, all leading to that same incredible viewpoint.
It really does shift your perspective on time, which leads to a final thought, maybe.
Yeah.
When you're standing up there on Mill Bluff, seeing a landscape formed over unimaginable time, how does looking at those enduring rocks, these silent witnesses to Earth's deep history, make you think differently about our own much shorter human timescale?